Welcome to A Styled Life, the podcast for purpose-led female founders and senior leaders ready to use style as a powerful tool for confidence, impact and influence. I'm your host, Alex Standley, multi-award-winning personal stylist, speaker and sustainable fashion consultant with 2 decades of experience in the fast-paced world of fashion. Join me as we redefine success from the inside out. This podcast isn't just about clothes. It's about personal power, purposeful style, and creating a life that aligns with your values. So whether you're running a business, leading a movement, or stepping into your next chapter, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into the world of personal style, sustainability, female empowerment, and living with intention through real stories, expert insights, and plenty of inspiration. Welcome back to A Styled Life. Today's conversation is one that I think every woman will be able to relate to. We're diving into body image, diet culture, and how the numbers, whether that's a size on a clothing label or the numbers on a scale, have shaped how we feel about ourselves as women. This is a conversation that comes up a lot in the work that I do, and I'm really, really excited to have Becky Jones joining me, who is a mindset and body confidence coach who helps women rebuild their relationships with food, movement, and their bodies. So, Becky, welcome. I'm really happy that you're here with me today.
Thank you. Really excited to have this conversation. It's something I'm very passionate about talking about. So, yeah.
I think we could probably do like a few podcast episodes on this topic because we're both so passionate about it. Can you tell everybody a little bit more about you and your background and what you do to kick us off?
Yeah, of course. So I help women like 30 and over, like basically break diet culture. I'm all about fixing relationship with your body and with food as well. So you can live that like in that confidence and also with food freedom. Yeah, that's basically in a nutshell.
And I know that you also had a bit of a background working in the fashion industry as well. Do you think that that has impacted your feelings about this topic and how you approach it?
Yeah, I think that absolutely does, because I've seen it from the other, working in the fashion industry, and also I guess the challenges that women come up against. I know we had a conversation about it a while ago, but yeah, definitely thinking, because I studied fashion at college and then at uni, so I was very in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Constantly like looking at magazines, like the catwalks, and yeah, so I do think it definitely has influenced my approach as well.
Yeah, definitely. Wanted to kick us off talking about sizing, because I think that's where so many women's confidence really wobbles, and in my experience it's such a big blocker, when I'm working with clients on their style. And we've both spoken about how damaging the industry's approach to sizing can be. Can you kind of talk us through what you see in your work about the numbers, about clothing sizes, measurements, weight, body shape, and how that all connects to our self-worth as women?
Yeah, absolutely, because it absolutely like comes up all the time, and it's something that I talk about in my own journey as well, that I used to be fixated on certain numbers because we saw them like in the media, or like,
Yeah.
I always put up the clips about, the Spice Girls being weighed on like,
Oh my God, so
Friday,
awful.
stuff like that. But it was like 8 stone. I saw 8 stone everywhere in the
Yeah.
magazines, like when they said like, I remember like they used to compare celebrities as well, like how much, and guess how much they weighed and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought like I had to weigh 8 stone, and it was like no context towards that or
No.
anything. It was just like that was it. Same with like clothing sizes as well. Like I thought I had to be like, at least an 8, like it had to be an 8. Like I didn't want to be like above that. But again, there was no like nothing behind that at all. Like,
No.
there's no consideration around height or like your muscle or anything.
No.
It's just like this is the magic number. And I think because we were exposed to that so much, that it's different numbers for different people, whatever they saw.
Yeah.
And then you get stuck in this pattern thinking like, my worth is tied to that number. If I don't hit that number, then I failed, I'm not worthy, I'm not successful, I'm not like being seen in this like beautiful, as for like the beauty standards that we were exposed to as well.
Definitely.
and obviously I talk a lot about the 90s noughties diet culture because this is where a lot of this comes from that I'm talking
Yeah.
about. But there was this thin ideal, like, we
Yes.
had to be thin to be worthy.
Mm.
And I do believe that's what's really impacted a lot of people, like now, going into their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, still holding on to these numbers because that's what they
Mm.
got told they should be. Yeah.
Definitely. And I see this so much with my clients and I think, I work with varying ages from, 30 up to 60, and it's the same across the board. And like you said, it might be, certain women have been exposed to specific numbers that are different to others, but everybody has like a ceiling as well that they'll kind of be happy to go up to like a size 12, for example, but they're not happy to go any higher than that because that they make it mean something about them and about their self-worth, and that they're, if they're a 12, it's okay, but if they go up to 14, then that means that they're too fat or too big or they're not good enough, or, they make it mean something about them.
Yeah.
And actually, as we know, like, the sizing is so inconsistent
Yes.
on the high street that it means absolutely nothing, because you could be a 10 in one shop, a 12 in another, a 14 in another. And even in the same shop, like, you can be a different size, in a pair of jeans versus a wide leg pair of trousers, because the fit's going to be different. So I think we immediately as women will make it about us and, take it internally and kind of beat ourselves up, when actually a lot of the time it's just that the retailer's not done a particularly great job on fitting that
No,
particular garment.
no, and they haven't. And I think what's important as well is women have different body shapes,
Yes.
and like, how can you size that? Like,
Yeah, you can't.
no. And I think, like, 'cause I used to work, like, obviously in the industry, and like the
Mm.
models that we used to fit on, they weren't very curvy. So
No.
it's like, well, then they're not, like, it needs to fit on like a size 10. But it's like,
Mm.
I was a size 10, and I was like, but they've got not the same body shape as me at all.
No.
And then I used to put it put it on, and I used to be like, well, it's tight here and tight there. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's important to realise that, yeah, it's not you.
I think that's why it's so important to understand, like, not just your body shape,
Yeah.
because obviously we're also fed a lot of information about, the different fruits and how our bodies compare to like a pear or a strawberry or an apple or whatever it is. But I think it's a bigger picture than that as well. It's not just your shape, it's your proportions as well,
Mm.
because you can be, a rectangle, but have completely different proportions. Like, somebody could have a long torso and another person can have a short
Yeah.
torso, and someone can have short legs and someone have long legs, and all of these things make such a big difference. And I think the more we understand ourselves and the more we understand our proportions and our shape and all of those things, means that we can be a bit more mindful about the things that we're choosing that are then going to, work for us, rather than us having to try and make things work that just aren't made for our shapes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I love that. Like, yeah, that more understanding body. Because I know I've had conversations with my clients that are like, don't worry about the size. Like,
No.
how do you want it to feel on you? Like, how do you want it to fit?
Yeah.
Because I think I was talking about one of my clients, had a history of like eating disorders and stuff. So she was really struggling with like clothing numbers.
Mm.
And I said to her, well, how do you like to wear it? Like, as I think it was a t-shirt. I was like, how do you like it to feel when you wear it? She's like, I actually like it quite baggy. So I was like,
Mm.
well, therefore, then you're probably going for a size, different size.
Size up.
Yeah. And she was like, oh yeah. And then she went in the next week and bought the t-shirts, and like, because she had a bit of a freak out the week before, and it was so nice just to
Mm.
help her through that and be like, don't worry about the size, just go with what feels good.
And it's so interesting. I think it was Mel Robbins that did a post about this a while back, where she said about, when you go and put a pair of shoes on, you don't beat yourself up if you have to get a 7 instead of a 6, or a 6.5 instead of a 6, or whatever. But she was like, why do we automatically, when it comes to the rest of our bodies, make it, so personal? Because if the shoes don't fit, it's just like, oh, I'll get the next size, and it doesn't really mean anything. But immediately when it's on your body and it's the clothes, then that all of a sudden means something. How do you kind of help to support your clients with that mindset work? Because it is ultimately mindset, isn't it? It's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with the clothes and the labels and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a lot of work around what I call limiting beliefs, and they're beliefs that are holding you back.
Mm.
So, and this comes up with everything, so it's not just around clothing sizes. We use the tool all the time, but as it can be used around clothing sizes, it's like, okay, what is the belief that you're holding about that number? Like, is that actually true? Is it a fact? And like start like breaking it down to the fact that then that number just doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But yeah, the limiting belief like work that I do around the questions on that really help break it down. Because yeah, you start realizing that you're holding on to these beliefs that aren't actually true and they're not facts. And it's like, why is my worth tied to this number? Is that true? No. Okay, so what can I then do to work through this? And what is the actual truth? You know? So that's probably the biggest work I do around that.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great like coaching question in general, like, is it true? Because there's so many scripts that run in our minds, and often it is things that either we've absorbed, you know, from social media and press and TV when we were growing up and magazines and things like that. But equally, it's often things that people have made, you know, passing comments about our bodies or how we look. And I know for a lot of my clients, it can be things that that person probably didn't even, you know, think twice about making that comment, but it sat with them for, you know, the rest of their lives. Like, there's all sorts of things that people say, you know, passing comments about women's bodies, and it's so unacceptable and so detrimental, and they don't realize the impact. And sometimes it's parents that have said, you know, you've got fat thighs, or you're this, that and the other, and you can't wear this because you're this, and that then stays with us like for the rest of our lives. So I think and asking ourselves the question, like, is it true, is so powerful, because often it's not. It's just an opinion, or it's just a perspective, and it's not actually valid. It's not true. It's not something that's, you know, helpful for us to hold on to.
Yeah, absolutely. I love breaking it down. I'm like, come on, let's go through this.
Yeah.
Like, what
Where's
is
it come from?
Yeah, where's it come from? Like, what does that mean? Like, is it actually true? Yeah, like, and then what couldn't, like, what is the actual truth? And then, like, because then I do a lot of journaling work, like about reframing and stuff. So then we practice that new belief, if that makes sense. So I call it the belief breaker, my little question. So that's, yeah, it's a great tool.
So we're also obviously experiencing the whole new year, new you messaging that's starting again. So there's things like detox plans and clean eating and, you know, gym transformations. And it's all about, you know, new year setting intentions for kind of what you want to kind of change about yourself. And it always really gets to me at this time of year, because I just feel like, you know, it shouldn't be about having to create a new version of you. It should be about, you know, embracing what's amazing about you, and not feeling like you have to change, or that you're broken or you need fixing, you know, not just from a physical point of view, but also from a mental health point of view as well. I think it can be quite damaging. How do you help women to kind of tune out the noise and stay connected to what's perhaps a more balanced and compassionate approach to their bodies?
Yeah, no, this is like great, like, because they're obviously starting to see all the noise out there at the moment.
Yeah.
So what I do with my clients, we do a big piece on like identity and values. So we work on actually like what is important to them. Like, who is it they want to be and what is important to them? So not reinventing themselves, but like, you know, who is it that they are? Like, what means, because, and that's the trouble with a lot of social media out there at the moment. They do this like highlight reel of like, you will be happy if you have X, Y, Z, and like you have to have this perfect life and da 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 da. And I think it's getting, like I think people are struggling with it even more and more, like as the years go on. So it'd be interesting actually to see how that does come about a bit more this year. But this is why I go, it's much better to go back into your values. Like, do you actually want that? Is that actually going to make you happy? Or is it like the connection with your friends and family around you? Is it about wearing the clothes that you want to wear? You know, not what society tells you, not what the Instagram influencer tells you, you know, like what is it you actually want? Like, you don't have to reinvent yourself. Sometimes I think people get a bit lost and they're finding themselves like they're a bit lost with all the noise out there. Also going through different chapters of their lives, or not you know, feeling a bit, you know, confused and overwhelmed by it all. So I really helped like going like focus on you, like shut out that noise. What is it that you want, like out of life in general? Like, how do you want to feel? What do you value? You know, all this stuff. Like, I think that's the most incredible thing, because it's the quick fix yo-yo diet kind of time coming out. I actually just did a post, put it out yesterday about I said like yo-yo dieting is basically like your toxic ex. Like you keep going back, but like, it
Love
doesn't.
that.
But it never makes you feel good. So
No. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. It's like we're so obsessed as a society, like in, popular culture, to go back and like, you have to be the same size for your whole life. Like when you've had a baby, you have to snap back and like be the size you were before. And, it's not okay to have a changing body shape and all of these things that are so unrealistic, because as women, naturally, like your body shape shifts and changes with age. There might be health and lifestyle implications that mean that your body shape changes, and we very much have that feeling of like that's not okay, and that is so damaging in so many different ways. And this whole new year new you thing just feeds into that same mentality, and I think it's something that I definitely had to like come to grips with when after I had my daughter, because I felt almost like shame that I couldn't fit into my clothes that I had before her. And it wasn't particularly because I had put on loads of weight. It was just because my shape had completely changed. Like my rib cage was like bigger and my hips and stuff were bigger. And I think that's the thing. Like sometimes it's not even about, weight gain or, anything related to that. Sometimes just your natural shape will change, with hormones, and the menopause is another big one that I see with my clients. And we feel like that's not okay, and that we kind of, again, put it to, that we're not good enough if our body shape changes. And I think that's so detrimental.
absolutely, and that's why I talk a lot about different chapters of your life, because it's like, yeah, let's embrace this new chapter. Like, because yeah, we do have to change. Like what we did like 10, 20 years ago, like exercise food wise, may not work anymore, but that's okay. It's like, well, let's explore something else, like to try. And
Yeah.
I love saying explore. Like I use this language quite a lot because I like, rather than saying like trying or like see what works, it's like let's explore it. Like,
Yeah. Have an adventure.
yeah, have an adventure with it. Like it sounds more exciting, and because there will be things that don't work, and that's okay. It's not failure. It's like I would say, it's an opportunity to learn. You find what works, what didn't work. Okay, what can I do? What can I do again? Like, and that's how we explore these different chapters, and like understanding that we should celebrate that our bodies change. Like they're unique and they're beautiful, and they show the
Definitely.
journey that we've been on, and I think that's incredible.
Absolutely. And I think there's so much from what you've said that kind of mirrors with your style as well, because I talk a lot about experimentation with your style, because it is supposed to be something that's fun, and like people are so scared of getting it wrong, and that fear of judgment, that it holds them back from experimenting and trying new things. And they're so worried about other people's perceptions that it kind of kills the joy. And actually, style is supposed to be really fun and really a form of self-expression, so you can't actually get it wrong really, because you're just expressing yourself through your clothes. And I think we forget that, and we lose that kind of like childlike joy that we had, getting all dressed up and trying different things and experimenting. And it sounds like it's very similar from a body and nutrition and mindset perspective as well.
Yeah, I think that people, that get into their head that, oh, it's going to be a chore, like health
Yeah.
and fitness is a chore. And I'm like, no, it should be just part of who you are. It should just be like something you do. And then when that clicks, and then that's where the values and the identity come in as well. When it all starts to click, and I love it when my clients say to me like, oh, it doesn't feel like I'm on a diet. It doesn't feel like I'm trying. It's just, this is just who I am now. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's perfect. That's exactly what we want, because now you'll do this for the rest of your life, and it's sustainable. Like it's
Yeah.
not a quick fix. You're like, right, I'm going to restrict heavily for like 2 weeks. I'm going to lose, and then it's not fun. You can't keep it
No.
up, and then you go around these cycles,
Yeah.
which we don't want.
I think it's the same with everything, isn't it? Like I found everything comes back to identity, and it's such an important part of the work that I do with my clients is, like you were saying before, like who do you actually want to be? How do you want to show up in the world? What's important to you? And what are your goals as well is really, really important. And, what's your lifestyle? And I think it's the same. Like I've definitely experienced this with fitness. after I had my daughter, I probably went about a year without doing any kind of what I would say like proper exercise. Like I did yoga sort of here and there, but it took me a year to feel like in the right mindset to kind of get back into a regular routine because her sleep was just terrible. And actually, I think the way that we approach it is really important because if you're exercising to lose weight or to change your body, it's not going to be something that you're going to stick to long term, I don't think. But because I was exercising to feel better, you know, and to feel stronger and fitter and more healthy, I've really stuck to it. And I've kind of stuck to it for the last 5 years because I didn't make it about, right, I need to lose my baby weight or anything related to that. It was all about, I really want to feel better from a mental health point of view. I want to feel stronger in my body. I want to feel fitter again. Like I want to be able to run after her and like keep up with her and all of those things that are like long-term, you know, benefits rather than just
Your
thinking
values
about,
as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really important. And this is why, like I say, it's never going to work if you're working on yourself from a place of hate and punishment because it's just not sustainable. So it's really important to work on body acceptance at the same time as, your health mentally and physically, because it all ties in. If like I always say, was it you can't out diet a poor relationship with food, and you can't out exercise a poor relationship with your body. You need to be able to do. That's where the mindset work comes in, and the body acceptance. It's accepting your body, yeah, how it is, but then working on it from a place of that love and respect for it.
yeah, it's so important. And I think it's so easy, as we've said, to kind of compare ourselves as well and to feel like we're falling short because, you know, this person's done this and they look like this. And actually bringing it back to yourself as a unique individual, like everybody's bodies are completely different. Everyone has completely different genetics and makeup and everything else. And the more that we can just focus on ourselves and what's right for us, I think is so important in this whole like narrative as well. And it's very much like that, drowning out the noise and reducing the noise.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was that person. Reason why I set up my like coaching the way it is because I was that person that compared myself to everyone. I was like chasing the thin ideal. I was like punishing myself, restricting, and I was miserable and I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of work but it was the mindset work that connected the dots, if that makes sense, of
Yeah.
flipping it around. So it's like I know how it feels to be in that place, and it's never going to work. It has to be. You have to change the approach, really.
Yeah, definitely. So something else I really wanted to talk about is how clothing and your style can actually support that mindset and your body confidence and how you feel in your own skin, basically. Because I've obviously seen firsthand how embracing your body and kind of what works for you and what you love and what you enjoy can shift how you feel about yourself. And I actually sometimes do have clients that come to me that say, you know, I've got a particular health or weight goal and, you know, I'm not sure about working with you because if I lose weight and then I've kind of bought clothes or whatever, then it's not going to work. And often what I recommend is to start the kind of identity and like signature style and like color process, because it's almost like doing some of that inner work to support the work that, you know, perhaps the goals that you've got. And sometimes they find that actually they feel so good about themselves that the weight's not actually that important anymore because they've really embraced who they are and they haven't changed anything about their body. It's just they've had that kind of not even just acceptance, like they actually really love themselves as they are because they've recognized like these are the things that I enjoy, and they can really see that they're good enough exactly as they are, which is obviously a really beautiful process. But I wanted to ask from your perspective what role you think your clothes and style and everything else has in building confidence and that self-acceptance as well.
Yeah, like definitely like a subject that's close to me because I love playing around with my style. So I like because I used to be really really shy. Like when I was younger, and I used to like grow up in the middle of Exmoor, which like
Oh, wow.
not much going on there. And like I didn't have a good time of it at school. Like 'cause, I was being bullied and stuff like a lot of people. And I used to try and shrink into the background and I just didn't feel
Mm,
myself. So I like, and at that time I was reading fashion magazines. I wanted to work in the fashion industry.
mm.
And I was always said like, I'm out of here as soon as I can. People laughed at me when I said I wanted to work in the fashion industry. Like it was, yes, it was quite tough.
Mm.
But then when I moved out, I started to then be able to explore like my style, and then I started to get confidence with it because I wasn't in that place anymore. I was like left school and
Mm.
behind, and I could start exploring a bit more. And each time it gave me more confidence to
Yeah,
like try things, like, and then like I definitely have a bit of a mishmash of a style now, which I like. And I think that's the thing as well. You don't have to fit into this box. You
no,
can try things and like I like a bit of vintage, I like a bit of rockabilly, I like a bit of grunge, I like a bit of like
yeah,
Wednesday Addams, like
I love
gothic,
that.
and I just mix it all together to create my own
Mm.
style. It's actually what my partner he said to me when he met me. He was like, "I love that you just got this style that you just mix things together," because he was in the like music scene,
Yeah,
so you could see like the bit of punk and stuff that I'd mixed
yeah, I
in.
love that. But that's your individual expression of like who you are and showing up in your clothes as well.
Exactly. And that's why I think you get more confident with the things you can try and it's okay if it doesn't work. It's like with
Yeah,
anything, if it doesn't work or you don't feel, oh, maybe that wasn't quite right, it's fine. Just try
yeah,
something else.
definitely.
Like you said, I think it's getting that, like, I guess that childlike, like, play with it, like we said.
Yeah.
Try different colors, try different things, like try things on. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Like,
Mm.
it will help your confidence. It absolutely does. Like,
Yeah,
when you feel good in what you're wearing, you like have this sparkle about you. Like people
definitely.
notice that you're like, yeah, you look good. I feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's true like the opposite way as well. Like if we're trying to sort of dress to be somebody else or to like get somebody else's approval, or even if we're trying to squeeze ourselves into things that are too small for us,
Yeah.
then you're just like, it's horrible when you're wearing something that you don't feel right in because you're constantly like adjusting yourself, and it's
Yeah.
like in your head all day, and then you don't show up in the same way because you just don't feel good and you don't feel right in your body and all of these things. And I think we underestimate how much of an impact that has, both ways. Like it can be such a powerful tool to use, but it can also be something that's so, detrimental and actually makes us feel quite down and quite
Yeah.
anxious and like up in our heads about everything. So I think the more that we can embrace our own quirks, like you said, and like enjoy the things that light us up, and the the little details, even just getting to grips with like what is it that I really love and leaning on those things, because when we are always going to have those days where we perhaps don't feel quite so good about ourselves, or hormones play quite a
Yeah.
big part in this. I talk about this quite a lot with my clients, that because they'll say to me like, how come I feel really good in this particular outfit on one day, and then I'll have another day where I'm like, oh, that just looks awful and I hate it, and have that really awful day. And often it's just they're leading up to their period, or they're having a day where their hormones are impacting how they see themselves. And so it can just be these really subtle things that are going on in the background that are actually impacting how we feel about ourselves.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like you said about like showing up like for yourself, like because I work in the fitness industry. I don't wear sports stuff. Like
Yeah.
all like and most coaches that I'm in like groups of coaches and stuff, they're all like on calls, they're wearing mostly sports stuff like leggings, but that's not me. It's not who I am, and I don't feel like I'd be my true self like if I was
Mm.
trying to fit into that box.
Yeah.
So again, it's okay to like stand out and do your thing.
Yeah, it's so true. And you wouldn't feel like you wouldn't perform at your best as a coach, trying to step into that role and be somebody that you're not. And I think we do that so often as women because we have so many ideas that run in our minds about how we should dress and what's appropriate and
Yeah.
what's you know, needing other people's approval. And actually, if we strip it all back and just go back to what we actually enjoy and what's, you know, us, then yes, you might, you know, get the odd comment if you've completely changed how you're showing up in the beginning, but you'll find very quickly that that kind of dissipates, and people actually will probably find you a lot more kind of magnetic and confident and all of those really positive things, because you're actually being yourself, and there's nothing, you know, more amazing than showing up as yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually, like, a lot of people, like, they reach out to me because they're like, you look like me and you're not like someone else in the fitness industry, because I'm embracing my own style, I'm doing my own thing, and I'm not
Yeah,
trying to fit this mold of what I think a personal trainer should look like. It's
definitely.
like, no, I fought too long and hard to like
Yeah.
find my feel. I'm not giving it up now.
Yeah, definitely. And that, like you said, that's how people connect with you. And I think I talk about this quite a lot with women who are quite visible, that
Yeah.
if you are feeling like you need to perform and you're stepping into somebody else's shoes, then you're going to lose that connection with the audience before you've even spoken a word, because people feel it, like they feel that incongruence between, you know, who you're being and who you actually are. So the more in tune you are with yourself and with your style and everything else, it's so much more powerful. And I think that's so easy to forget, but it's actually such a powerful tool that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So we've talked quite a lot about mindset. And I think there's such a parallel between probably how we approach nutrition and exercise and how we approach style. And I don't really like to use the word fashion, but fashion as well. And you often talk about mindful eating, and we've talked a lot about self-acceptance and self-respect for your body. Do you see that mindset showing up in other areas with your clients, in terms of like when they're thinking about what to wear and how that impacts from a mindset perspective?
Yeah, so like, yeah, so the mindset does show up in other areas, absolutely. Like, it, I always say, like, it has a ripple effect of, like, you know, when they're working on themselves and they're saying confidence, that the lot of the tools that they use around health and fitness then end up helping like in other
Other
areas.
areas. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, with dressing as well, absolutely, because I've had clients come to me going like, I used to wear all this stuff and now I feel like, you know, I'm not feeling comfortable in my body, and I've gone for a bit of a, you know, definitely a bit lost. So we have worked on, like I said, the limiting beliefs, or like changing around like their values and stuff like that, and then that then helps them get back to, their sparkle back. That's what I say, like
Yeah.
having the confidence to wear those things again, or like go shopping and not feel like that, you know, they're not worried about the sizes, or stepping in the changing rooms and trying new things on. And like, I love it in like their wins, because I don't focus on numbers, like in my coaching. So I always ask them for like non-numeric wins, and sometimes it's like, I wore a skirt for the first time, I haven't done it for years, and like, so they are starting to explore this more, and it's, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
I love that. And I think we spoke about before that how a lot of coaches, especially fitness coaches, do focus on the numbers, and it'll be like, how much weight have you lost, or how many centimeters have you lost? And I think obviously for some people they like to have those like tangible results, but I personally found that quite, again, like, you know, what am I supposed to have lost? Like, what
Yeah.
should those numbers be? And if the numbers aren't changing, what does that mean about me? And, you know, I think anywhere that you bring in the comparison, or the possibility to compare, you know, numbers and things like that, it can be quite detrimental.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, as we've said with size labels as well, like it doesn't actually mean anything, but we create meaning from it. And I think it's the same with the scales and with measurements and things like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, that's why I don't like to focus on numbers. One, because so many things can impact scale weight. Because I sometimes have clients that they do step on the scales and they're like, "Oh no, but I haven't really lost anything." I'm like, "You just told me that your clothes are fitting better, you've got more energy, you're sleeping
Yeah.
better," and they're like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like,
Yeah.
so why are you worried about the number? Like, I'd like chuck those scales out the window. Like, we're not
Yeah.
doing that again. But yeah, I think like we forget, like, I'm like, there's so many things that impact like those numbers. Time of the month, like if we've had a salt heavy meal, carb heavy meal, like stress causes inflammation, water retention. Like there's so many different factors that can affect that scale.
Yeah.
And it's like when you actually break it down, you're like, yeah, why am I actually worrying about this?
Yeah,
How your clothes are feeling, like how you feel, like,
definitely.
and how you're showing up in the world. Like that's what's important, not that number.
No, and I haven't had scales in my house for like the last 10, well, more than 10 years probably. And it's so freeing. Like it, you don't need it
No.
to, to focus. You can still focus on your health and
Yeah.
well-being without having scales.
I'm a health and fitness coach. I haven't weighed myself. I don't have scales. I don't know how much I weigh. I can have a rough idea. I don't weigh my foods. Like I talk about food freedom. Like it's you don't have to do these things to have, healthy, balanced lifestyle. That's it.
Definitely. And I think the way that your clothes fit is so much more important. And like we said, with the size labels, it's actually more obvious if you're trying to squeeze yourself into something that's not the right size or shape for you than it is, if you do end up buying a bigger size that actually fits your body and that you're comfortable in. That's when you're going to feel really good in your own skin, and you'll probably actually find that you get compliments from people because you look amazing and you feel amazing, and it has all of these positive knock-on effects rather than trying to endlessly squeeze yourself into a size that's just not right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like I said, it does have an impact on your mental well-being as well. And like what I see with the clients that I help, if they are stepping on the scales or they're not seeing the results that they want in those numbers way, it does cause this kind of like, I guess, binge restrict cycles, this yo-yo
Yeah.
dieting, which also has an impact long-term on weight and your overall health and well-being as well. So that's why it's much better to do it from a place that you're at, like I said, you're feeling good in yourself. Because a lot of my clients, even though we don't focus on the numbers, they do end up like, going down the dress size or feeling like they've like lost weight and things like that. But but not from focusing on it. It's
Yeah.
because they're focusing on like how good they're feeling, and it stops this kind of this all or nothing approach. Like, all right, now I've got to restrict, and now I've restricted. Now I'll crave all the chocolates, and now I'm going to eat all the chocolate. And
Yeah.
it's not healthy at all to be in that
No.
environment. So it's much better to do it from a place of like, yeah, it might take a bit longer, but it's more sustainable, and it will, you'll break that cycle.
I think there's so much as women, I mean, this would be a whole other conversation,
Yeah.
but, the way that we kind of make ourselves small in so many different ways. Do you find that through the work that you do that it allows women to kind of take up space more? Because I think I definitely find that with the
Yeah.
work that I do, like women can be unknowingly kind of making themselves invisible and almost
Yeah.
like hiding in the background, kind of like what you were saying about your experience at school and then coming out of your
Yeah.
shell once you started to express yourself more. Do you find that with your work as well?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of clients that have like people pleasers going into the background, like shy, and I'm like, nope, we're going to set some boundaries. We're going to make sure that you say no to that and show up for yourself. And
Yeah.
then the confidence that comes from that is incredible. So it's like, they're like, I said no to this, or I set this boundary at work. And now it's like, and I'm like, yes. And they're like, I feel more confident. I feel better. I feel heard, which is incredible. So, yeah, I love that I'm able to help people do that because, like, you're right. Like, we're, as women, like, being told to, shrink, not to speak up, not especially in my lifetime, I saw that, that it was mainly men in managerial jobs. When I came into the fashion industry, it was mainly men that was,
Yeah.
all men were the directors where I was
Yeah.
working. There wasn't any women. And it was like, I've seen this shift, but there's still this, what am I trying to say? Like the women have to prove themselves. Like
Yeah.
there's women work twice as hard or they show up like because they have to prove themselves. That makes sense. And I do think
Definitely.
that's still quite prevalent.
Yeah, definitely. I see this all the time. I talk about it quite a lot in different conversations that we've had on the podcast, that women often feel like they're on the back foot, especially in male dominated environments. And that can be something that makes women, shrink themselves and tone themselves down and, all of those kind of things. And I think sometimes it is a completely subconscious thing and it's not something that they're actually aware of until you start digging into it and looking at actually how would you show up if you didn't think about any of those external factors and having that external validation or any of those things, because often it's stuff that we've kind of told ourselves that we've made up. And when you actually drill down to like, is there actually a dress code at work, or is it just you think that because you're a woman then you can't wear this or you can't do this or you can't express yourself like this? And it's really interesting to see kind of the stories that are running in people's minds that are making them behave in a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree. Like, it's like, well, I don't know, I thought that's what was happening, but it is probably from of like what we've seen, what we've been told throughout the years as well, and generational. I think things get passed down, like
Yes,
generational as
definitely.
well. Comments that have been made previously, anything like that that can really affect people. But no, I'm here to help empower yourself, embrace your uniqueness. Like,
Yeah,
find your
definitely.
voice.
Yes, 100%. So for anyone that's listening who's feeling a bit stuck, maybe their body's changed or they've kind of lost their confidence in how they look and their body and everything else, what's one small mindset shift or like a daily habit or something that could really make a difference for someone that's feeling like that?
So there's like I talked about like the limiting beliefs. I think that's really good, to just look at like what is it that you're telling, what is the narrative that you're telling yourself, and is that actually true? Because like I said, we make up these stories in our head or what we've heard from diet culture, comments, whatever it may be, but they're not actually true. So going like lean into that, like, and question yourself. I think sometimes we have to challenge our thoughts, otherwise they go unnoticed and they're running in the background like with this narrative, and it makes us feel rubbish about ourselves.
Definitely.
So that's one definite thing. I'm always a big fan of doing some like gratitude journaling as well. I always think that really helps with when you're feeling a bit low mood. So I write out like three things, like, and I write, I am grateful for, I am grateful for, I'm grateful for, and like even things like the roof over your head, the food in your fridge.
Yeah,
I think that can be really grounding.
definitely.
Being able to practice the gratitude, and then because that's how what I practice, and then I feel like I'm coming in every day from a place of like, do you know what, quite lucky here for what I have.
Yeah,
If that makes sense, and it helps my confidence actually as well.
definitely. I think from a style perspective as well, I think we can change the way that we're feeling and our mindset quite quickly
Yeah,
through our clothes as well. So I think if you are like feeling quite low on confidence, or perhaps you're not feeling that great, your clothes are actually a great way to bring a bit of joy and a bit of happiness into your day. And I think our default is to kind of gravitate towards the neutrals if we're not feeling great, and that can sometimes make us feel worse and just kind of perpetuate that cycle. So I think from my perspective as well, like, not saving your best pieces for special occasions or for that one day that might never happen, and actually wearing your favorite jumper or just putting some red lipstick on to, brighten your day, or dressing for how you want to feel and not for what's come off the top of the washing pile. Because I actually think, your confidence is built through taking the action rather than, you don't just wake up and feel confident. Like, you have to kind of build that confidence through, it's almost like being brave and kind of taking those steps.
yeah. No, I love that. Like, yeah, I think it's like you said, even if you feel like you're not feeling your best, just doing something to make you feel good. It's just reminded, like, because I talk a lot about anchor points with my clients. It's like anchor points that ground them in the day, that know they make them feel good. So it's like, what do you do first thing in the morning that makes you feel good? Like, do that. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I suppose with what you do and what I've found definitely in kind of focusing on my health and well-being, is that there's so much conflicting information out there and we're bombarded with so many different messages. So those anchor points, I can imagine, are really important, because it's like, how do I bring it back to the present, and what's in my control, and all of those kind of things.
Yeah, I love it. We just finished an anchor point. I do like focus weeks every first week of the month. So we just did the anchor point, like to help them find the anchor points. So I was like, it's December, like it's gonna be like a bit like schedules a bit out, your routines are out,
Mm,
make you feel a bit like all a bit uneasy. So it's like using those anchor points throughout, that time that's
yeah.
gonna help with you feeling better and grounding, because I feel all over the place when my schedules and routines are.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
I think also I've found you can kind of get to the end of the year and just feel a bit exhausted
Yeah.
anyway, because you've kind of been on this like mission, and just keep pushing on, and then you kind of get to the end of the year, and I just feel like my body's quite tired, and like, and obviously the time of year as well, with less hours of sunshine and daylight and stuff like that. I think it can all have an impact, and sometimes we don't need to kind of be pushing ourselves to do like longer workouts or that kind of thing. We can do 20 minutes, and that's
Yeah.
still enough.
Absolutely is. I know people have this conception that like, oh, I'm gonna have hours of workouts. I'm like, no, if you've got 20 minutes to do 20 minutes, it's fine.
Yeah,
Don't make it such a big thing. Like, it's all
definitely.
right.
And it makes you feel so much better for just doing something. It doesn't have to be long.
Absolutely, absolutely. I sort of say to her, I'm like, just, even if you start doing something and then you're like, you only want to do it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, that's fine.
Mm,
Like sometimes we are exhausted and we don't have the energy, which is another thing
mm.
being like was in your 40s as I am now. Like so it happened to be at the gym this morning. I can do the workout I usually do because I was just feeling tired, and I was like, it's okay, I'll go to my plan B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like tracking your cycle as a woman is so important as
Yes.
well, isn't it? Because it can feel so different at like different points. So not
Yeah.
beating yourself up, I think, is really important.
Absolutely. But and it's important for you to know how you like feel with that as well, because everyone is different. Like
Mm,
I get my bee in my bonnet about the coaches that tell you how you should feel around like each
yeah.
phase of your cycle. I'm like, because they're like, oh, at this phase used to be like on your like time of the month under a blanket. So I'm like, I hit personal best in the gym at my time of the month. So
Do
don't tell me
you?
I need to be under a blanket. Like everyone's different. So I'm like, your body more than anyone else. Like you figure out your cycle and what works best for you. And again, that comes in with dressing as well. Like
Mm,
and your clothes, like how you feel different weeks. Like that's fine. But
yeah.
no, don't listen to tell. I don't like when people try to tell people how they should feel. It's like
No.
no, like
Yeah, and
like
I get that. I think I did a post about this the other day as well, about you are going to have different moods, and your mood is going to change. And I get asked that so much, like, how do I dress? Because I'll have various different moods in one week, and that's, I think that's why it's really important to stay true to you as well, because although yes, you can shift your mood through what you wear, it's equally okay if you are going to an event or something and you're not really feeling it, and you just want to wear neutrals because that's
yeah,
how you feel on that day. And it's like, not kind of beating yourself up because you're showing up in a slightly different way to how you do normally.
yeah,
And I guess it's similar to what you were saying actually about having those anchors. Like, it's the same with your style. You'll still have your anchors and your details and stuff that make you feel like you, and that bring out your personality, but it doesn't mean that you have to show up
yeah,
in
absolutely.
sequins if you don't if you're not feeling it.
I've got my like my checkered trout like Vans checkered trousers. They're baggy and they're really comfy, and like so that's what I wear when I'm like, I want to feel cozy.
Yeah,
They're still like my style. They're still, and I
yeah,
still get compliments on them when I go out because people are like, oh, they're really cool. But
yeah,
to me, it's like they feel cozy. So it's like, yeah,
yeah. And how and fabrics and how they feel on your body is so important.
yeah, absolutely. So they're my cozy day trousers. If you see me wearing them on Instagram.
I will know. So thank you so much. That's been amazing. I wanted to do my final like three quick fire questions for you. What is the one item of clothing in your wardrobe that you love the most, and why?
That's different. There is a dress that I absolutely love, and I've kept hold of it for years and years and years. It's like black lacy with these red flowers on, and it's
Oh no.
long, and it's got long sleeves. But it's one of those things that I like. If I've got to like a special occasion, I feel really good in it.
Yeah.
And it's one that I just drag out every now and again. So probably that one is, yeah.
I love that. I love things that just make you feel amazing and like you can rely on them for occasions and things like that because they just make you feel really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we opened your wardrobe right now, what would we find way too much of?
The colour black. I think that's my grungy like gothic style coming in. But I do love black. I think as well because I've got quite heavily tattooed. I quite like the
contrast.
Quite colourful. I like the contrast.
Yeah. Nice. And what's an outfit or a trend that you look back and think, I really regret wearing that, and why?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm thinking about like the early noughties with like the high-rise jeans and stuff.
Much in that era.
Yeah, that would probably be early noughties. Oh God, what was I wearing?
I think it's really funny as well now because there's so much of that coming back around in terms of the trends, like the 90s and noughties are like so influential.
Like, yeah, velour, like tracksuits coming back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like the really baggy jeans, like from the 90s as well.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the teenagers be wearing that, and I'm like with their Nirvana t-shirts.
I've had so many clients actually who are like mums of teens, and they're like, oh, she's sure my daughter's like buying like two sizes up of like her actual size just so that they'll be so huge on her because it needs to be this like specific baggy look. Like, you know, I suppose the same as when we were growing up, it was like thongs and like low slung jeans, and it's like all coming back. I'm not repeating that, I have to say.
No, I won't.
Thank you so much for this conversation. I think this is going to be so helpful for so many women who will be facing a lot of the things that we've spoken about. And I think shifting from, you know, that feeling of not being good enough to that self-acceptance and the power of, you know, looking after your body and how you're fueling it and, you know, your personal style and everything that comes together. I would love for you to let people know where they can find you, and I'll obviously put all of your links into the show notes as well.
Thank you. Yeah, best place to get hold of me is on Instagram. That's at the_empower_coach. But yeah, my inbox is always open, so drop me a message if you want.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this conversation. And if you have enjoyed it too, then please do share it with another woman in your life who would benefit from this conversation as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to A Styled Life. If today's episode resonated, the best way to support the show is to share it with another trailblazer or leave a quick review. And if you're ready to align your style with your next level of impact, head to the show notes to book your free style strategy call. Because when your style aligns with your purpose, the world takes notice.